Welcome to another episode of Hoosier Nerds Podcast with your hosts Mikey, Tim, and the two. Tim is so he'll be joining us later, but the show must go on, and he's going to join us at some point. Might be right now, might be at the end of the show. We'll find out. But this first weekend of Spooktober, we're going to talk about our favorite horror movies, slashers, scary movies, whatever you want to call them. And talk about them, maybe why we like them, some honorable mentions. Kick off Spooktober with some suggestions to our loyal fan base of the 20, 30, 40 of you, however many there are now. We love all of you. So
good.
Hold on to your dookie. It's about to get spooky. All right, Chris, take it away.
Okay, here we go. Top 5. From 5 to 1. My top 5 is Insidious, number 5, which stars Ethan Hawke. That movie just creeped me out in general. And then, so that's all I got to say. It just creeped me out. There's no any particular reason why. It was a creepy ass movie. The second one was The Blair Witch Project because I freaking hate camping, and I don't understand why people pay money to go live like a homeless person when there's hotels with air conditioners and televisions and stuff like that. And I don't need some freaking ghost witch chasing me through the woods while I'm out trying to camp at night when I can be safe in a hotel room. But Blair Witch creeped me out. I remember seeing it at the movie. I bought into it because, they had the website and they made it look like it was a real found footage movie. That was one of the first of the found footage movies. And they convinced the world that these people were really missing and go see this movie, and it just hit at the right time. That was number 4. Number 3 was Nightmare on Elm Street. I think we've all had dreams where we're being chased by some creepy guy, and the idea of somebody stalking us in our dreams when we're the most vulnerable. You can get attacked at your most vulnerable time, which is at night, asleep in your dreams. Number 2 is The Exorcist. I just watched this a few weeks ago, actually. The more I watch it, the less creeped out I get. But I remember watching this as a kid because, go dad. Yeah, come, Chris, come watch The Exorcist. It'll be fun. And that just always creeped me out. Demon possession is... I like the idea. Most of my movies are based on realism, and exorcisms and demon possessions are very real. I've witnessed that before, and it will scare the crap out of you. So that one kind of hits a little home here, not to the extent of raising people and vomiting pea soup, and then of course my number 1 movie of all time for scary movies is the OG John Carpenter classic Halloween. Came out in 1978, and the running theme of the movie is the boogeyman. The boogeyman's coming to get you. And being the youngest child in the family, as far as cousins and brothers, I always heard the boogeyman's coming to get you, and don't go outside, the boogeyman will get you. And that movie scared the crap out of me when I was a kid, but I couldn't stop watching it. I never turned off a scary movie. I always watched it because I always wanted to know what happened. Did it give me nightmares? Probably. Did I tell my parents? Never. So never tell your parents that you had nightmare from a scary movie, because they'll never let you watch scary movies ever again. So I just, suffered in bed all night long from nightmares. So that is my top 5 scary movies of all time from Chris with a K.
All right, Mikey. After we talk about our top 5s, we're going to discuss it all.
Yes.
We're just going to put our top 5s out there so everybody knows, and we'll discuss them. We're doing honorable mentions afterwards.
Yes.
So go ahead, Mikey.
Okay. No particular order. I was just writing these down. Uh, Beetlejuice, classic movie with Alec Baldwin, Michael Keaton. I mean, the group is ghosts. That's pretty creepy. They learn how to haunt the family that's moving in their house, and I'll continue. Monster House. Yeah, it may be a kids movie, slightly animated, but I remember watching it when I was a kid. Well, I guess it was
La-
2006.
Last week.
No, it was back in 2006, so that's 14 years ago. So that's about half my age. So I guess I was 14, but it still freaked me out a little bit, I guess. I really liked it. The art in it is pretty good too. Let's see. The Conjuring, really good movie. I like the all. You kind of see a trend here. I like all the paranormal stuff, ghosts, because I truly believe that stuff is real. Even though I've never really witnessed anything, but I've heard stories. Even though those may be true or false, but I just think they're real. Just like some people believe aliens are real. Who knows?
I am.
Um, yeah. So is Mark Zuckerberg. Uh, he's an alien.
Right. You just got us kicked off Facebook.
Yeah. Saw. Saw
Oh,
was a
good pick.
yeah. That was really that was early one, 2004. I think it's really good because it started off that kind of. I mean, I wouldn't want to be. I just try to imagine myself like what would happen if I was one of these persons. Yeah, I guess that was taken. And then you had to figure out this puzzle, or you had to play that game that Jigsaw plays with them, and it's just really creepy and like uh, I guess you have to really think of your morals and stuff to get through it. Um, and then I guess my last one is Scream. That was
call.
yeah. I mean classic horror uh, monster or maniac or whatnot. Um, Slasher. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Classic slasher movie. Uh, and the mask. I mean, it's everywhere. At least it was everywhere. I don't see it too often now.
Still.
Yeah,
You
but
see a lot of the older, like people our age wear it a lot still, but
Yeah.
it's not like it wasn't. It's not like Deadpool and Spider Man is today.
yeah, but I remember having somewhat, I guess you could say, nightmares, but about this, it was really that bad for me. So that was my top five. Yeah. What about you, Chris? With a C.
I was about to say, all right, go again, Chris.
Yeah.
I can name a
All
bunch
right.
of
Now, like all other lists, this list is what I made up today, but tomorrow I could think of another top five list of like not even these same movies, but these are the ones I like. These are the ones I was thinking of the most. So number five would have been As Above, So Below. For those of you who haven't seen that movie, it's about an archaeologist who goes into the catacombs underneath Paris, and basically stuff ensues, and she's basically her and her group of friends. Spoilers, but whatever. The movies have been out
Excuse
for
me.
long enough. They're like traveling through the gates of hell and being like tested, and she's trying to find the sorcerer's stone. It's really scary just because it's got the hell aspect and it's claustrophobic. I guess there's a theme that goes on throughout my list. Um, Next up would be the Descent. It's about a group of girls going spelunking, and there's I'm minorly claustrophobic, and this movie I had to sit in like my open room, like it was hard to breathe at certain points with how claustrophobic it got. And then when the monsters started chasing them, oh my god! I it's one of the few movies that even to this day actually still scare me. But it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite horror movies. Number 3 is The Conjuring. It goes into that same paranormal and like evil spirit stuff.
Sure.
I'm religious. I believe in it all. I've witnessed things. You made away, or couldn't. I looked. I don't know how. It's one of those things that you don't really know how to explain. And the same with Insidious would be is number 2. Insidious was like the last like decade has to be one of the scariest movies out there.
I agree.
But unfortunately, it couldn't take number 1 because number 1 is the scariest movie in the last like 5 years. Even would be The Quiet Place. I remember when I went and saw The Quiet Place with Derek Barron and whoever else went with us. You could hear people in the front row eating popcorn. It was dead quiet in that theater, and you could feel the tension in the air, with everything that was happening in that movie. I'm sad Quiet Place 2 got postponed because of everything going on, but I can't wait till, the sequel comes out. So like I said, my list has a theme to it, claustrophobic and like paranormal, except for Quiet Place. That's more of a
Right.
I don't even know where to put Quiet Place. More like psychological, having to be quiet all the time.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But yeah, there's my list.
Cool.
So who wants to go first with discussing a little bit more? Anyone?
Um.
All right. I'm gonna go with so this goes into like one of my honorable mentions, but like Chris's Blair
let's
Witch.
go that. We'll probably discuss more as we go ahead. Go ahead with your honorable mention. So
Blair Witch, like you said, I never thought Blair Witch was a really scary movie, but the reason it's on my it's like an honorable in my book is because it created a whole new genre, sub-genre for horror, as in like the found footage.
right.
You got that. You got Cloverfield. You got the one. I can't think of the one zombie movie made by Romero. He made one that was in found.
28 days? Is it 28 days later? No, that wasn't it.
No, it was like or something of the Living Dead.
Oh, Night of the Living Dead. Yeah.
He made a Night of the Living Dead in found footage form.
Okay.
But it's not often you have a movie, especially. I mean, same thing with Paranormal Activity. It's all these cheap student quote unquote films make their own subgenres. Now you haven't seen much more come out of like the paranormal version of scary movies, except for the 20 different Paranormal Activities there are.
Well, there's a new Conjuring coming out though.
Yeah, and then The Conjuring led into like Annabelle movies, or is that Insidious?
Back to the Blair Witch. I remember Chris said something like people were thinking like these people were really missing.
Yes.
Like that's how true. Like I think I remember listening to like a podcast or something that briefly like went over that. Like people were calling or sending emails or letters or something like to the local police or something. I don't know what it was. I forget, but yeah, that when you said that, it just like reminded me of people
they
like
had
really thought like these people were missing or dead or
well
something.
when they posted when they showed the trailer, that was so like this is the internet in everybody's home in its infant stage essentially. So they had this whole website and backstory created.
Oh yeah,
on the
right.
website, and you could go there and you could see the pictures, and they gave a profile of the 3 people and where they were last seen and what area they were supposed to be in, and I mean they sold it. I had no idea for a long, and they kept it hidden so well. Thank God there was no social media back then. I mean,
would have been spoiled instantly.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was like perfect time, perfect place.
Exactly. And that movie was made for nothing, and it just millions and millions of dollars. Any more honorable mentions there, Chris?
I guess I'll go to Paranormal because you said it was made for next to nothing. Same with Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
It has what, like 5 people in it, and it was made for like not even $1 million, and it made how much did it even make, the first one? I'm looking it up.
Yeah, that movie was like right outside my honorable mention list. And I was working at the movie theater when this came out, along with all the other ones.
It made 200 million.
Yeah, it was
200
really, really freaky, and I like that one too. Like it's another paranormal ghost type movie, like most of the movies I like. And
It was made for $15,000.
and it had that tension to it too, like Quiet Place did. Like
Yeah.
like I remember you like just sitting in the theater and like during the daytime when the movie is going on, people were kind of talking in the theater, and then once it switches to night and you get that night vision camera, everyone's silent, and you can just
And
feel
you're just glued. Yeah, and the tension builds. You know something's going to happen, and you're just waiting for it. I've got that
Freaky.
on I have The Conjuring and Paranormal Activity.
It gives me goosebumps just thinking about
it.
I like the first couple, but as soon as you got the formula after 3, 4, or whatever, however many,
after a while.
It was the first one was really good, and what was it? The third or fourth one was really good. The one with the Connect.
Yes.
We were talking about that pre-show about how like Zach Bagans even uses that now.
Well, they use the formula to Connect, to it's like the same program to look for spirits, and it comes out in like stick figure form. It's pretty amazing, actually. I've got The Conjuring and Paranormal Activity on my list of honorable mentions. Now, I remember we lived in a house out in Alto, which is a little community just close to us. And my brother was working late. He would come home like at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. And my dad would yell at him because the lights were on in the house all the time. And he's like, no, I turned the lights off every night. This went on for like a week. He's like, no, Dad, I'm turning the lights off, I swear. Because he'd wake up and like the light in the living room would be on, or the light in the it was like a bi-level house, so you had to go downstairs in the front door, and then you had the light in the up above there was always on. Then one day my mom was in a room next to mine. She said that my bedroom door was cracked, and she could hear, my door was always closed. I always closed my bedroom door. I've never slept with the door open. So the bedroom door was cracked, and she could hear she could hear coat hangers rattling in the closet.
Oh gosh.
On the other side. She was in the room next to mine, but she could hear the coat hangers rattling. And thank God I slept through all this. That's all I can say. I mean, so those ghosts, that's why I love the ghost stuff, because, I've had things like that happen, and any of this stuff can happen. I mean, The Conjuring, that's based on a true story. Granted, the movie took Hollywood liberties with it, per se.
Yeah.
But that's a true story. Paranormal Activity, that can happen. So.
And the one thing I like about The Conjuring is the score, the music. It just makes it that much more
the music
terrifying.
sells you. Yes.
Yeah.
You got to have good music to make a good horror movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Or either good music or like dead silence, like Quiet Place or Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if I've told you guys this. I might have, but there's a family legend that my great grandparents, they had like for my grandpa, they had like 9 kids, but they should have had 11. So they had twins. One of them died during childbirth, and when you lose a child during childbirth, they want you to name the kid.
Right.
Helps you with the grieving process. But the other one survived. 2-3 years later, the other kid has a really bad fever, and they don't think that she's going to make it. And they hear knocking on the wall, and they go check it out, and they come back, and the other kid says her sister that died, or brother, I can't remember, said that they want me to come play with them.
Oh fuck!
Is
And
is this you, Chris? Are you just saying family legend? This is you.
no,
Right?
this is
We are not going to Five Guys anymore. I'm going to tell you. This is
but no, like the next night the kid died. So it's just a family legend that's been passed down. I don't know how true it is, but I mean, I know my grandparents had 11 kids, but only 9 survived. Great grandparents had 11 kids, but only 9 survived, and 2 of them were twins. So, I mean, all evidence points to it being somewhat real.
Mhm.
Oh
Pretty
my god.
creepy.
Oh, I had my first wife, my first ex-wife, let's say. Her grandfather, she would tell me this story. They're from Connecticut, so you know how Connecticut, that's old, creepy old houses.
400-year-old houses.
Right. So her mom and her friends would go in the basement and play with a Ouija board.
Nah, fuck that shit.
Right. Then she said that her grandfather would go to the basement to talk to the person in the basement. And
Nah.
he would have conversations with the person in the basement. But there was like, I'm like, no.
There's one thing you'll
Yeah.
never get me to use, and that's a Ouija board.
Ouija board, never.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're talking to.
No.
Um,
Yeah, that's why I like those. I do. I love those ghost movies because any movie that can hit home as a reality to me, for the most part, those are the scariest movies to me.
mm,
And that's why I have those as my honorable. Now I've got my other honorable mentions in no particular order, and also include The Omen, the original, with the child of Satan, and I mean, when I
Oh
watch it,
yeah.
so I can remember watching this when I was a kid, and then that woman's like, "Damien, I'm doing this for you," and she jumps out the window to hang herself in front of the kid, and he's like knocking his mom off the stairs, and he's like, we all know that one kid that's like, because I'm the son of the devil. Remember that in
Yeah.
South
Yeah.
Park? Same guy. The new Rob Zombie's Halloween, I thought was great because it gave you a backstory to Michael Myers, how he was abused quite a bit, and ignored, and why he became the killer that he did, and also The Strangers, which
which
scared
one is the strangers?
That's the one where the people are out in the woods and these people with the masks just show up and they slowly torture them and murder them all.
Oh, that's a good movie.
And the creepiest part of that movie is the very last part of the movie because I think it's got Liv Tyler in it.
I think.
Yeah, Liv Tyler. And she's like, "Why are you doing this?" And they're like, "Because you answered the door." I was like, "Oh my god, that is creepy as
Yeah.
hell." Or you were home or something like that.
Who?
Yeah.
That's creepy. I mean, you can't tell me that won't happen. And they said that this wasn't it. Let's see here. I've got it on.
There was a serial killer who wouldn't kill you if you had your doors locked.
Based on a true story. This movie was based on a true story.
When they say based on a true story,
Yeah.
it's like, how true is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. I guess I'll go with my honorable mentions. And I kept it a little bit light on here on these, like Halloween Town, classic Disney movie. You've never seen that? Then try to watch. I'm sure it's on Disney Plus, but uh, that's a good one. That's a fun one to watch with kids if you got kids. And then another one, Shaun of the Dead. And keep it
Oh
as
God, I
yeah.
love Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah,
One of the best zombie movies ever.
Yeah, I mean, that's one that's not gonna be like based on reality. I guess that can have and can be true, but it's really funny. Uh, that's got. I mean, Simon Pegg. I thought it was one of his first movies I've watched. It was like probably one of his breakout movies, at least I would
Yeah.
say. Then we got The Sixth Sense. That one always creeped me out.
I see dead people. Yeah, that was a creepy movie.
Yeah, and so that's another ghost one. We'll continue with that. There's a lot of those. I had Insidious too, or
Also,
not the second, not the sequel. Uh, and then The Exorcist. The Exorcist.
That movie is creepy. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And
It's been a while since I watched
she was
it.
playing with a Ouija board too. That's how she got.
Yeah.
See,
Oh, really? No.
don't mess with that crap, man. I'm telling you, you'll get possessed by the devil himself. And they're gonna scream at you. They're gonna scream at you. Your mother sucks cocks in hell.
Did you guys ever see The Rite with Anthony Hopkins?
The what?
The Rite. He's like an exorcist for the
Yes,
Catholic Church.
that's a good movie, actually.
Yeah. The Catholic Church actually does have an exorcist school, and teaches. They don't have many.
They do.
You have to get like given permission by the Pope to even become an exorcist, and there's only like 3 Catholic priests in the states that can do exorcisms. But they do like a full-on like research. If you're like, they want to make sure you're not like mentally ill before they'll even do an exorcist on you.
Right.
I guess I'll go. Go ahead,
it's hard to believe that stuff is true. Like, I mean, I like the Supernatural, the TV show with demons and all that junk, but it's hard to believe that there's something being possessed, like a person's being possessed. I mean, there's got to be something else. I can't explain it, but it's got to be something else. I don't see how you could make a job going around and acting like you're exorcising people, I guess.
There's been exorcisms on Ghost Adventures. It's a
friggin'
very real thing.
Zach Bagans gets
possessed
like every other episode.
He's got to go get blessed all the time because he brings stuff home with him. They said that a couple of people on there, like, it's cost them their marriage or their relationship because of the stuff that comes home with them from these.
Now, see, I think that's
investigations.
Different. I think like a haunting is different from being possessed.
Well, but there's different kind of hauntings and possessions. See, I grew up in a church, so I grew up in church, so I kind of know. Plus, I've researched stuff because I'm a nerd. But you have basic hauntings. You hear a bump, but it's the same bump.
Yeah.
It's like a tape recorder. They do the same thing all the time.
It's like the Confederate ghosts at
Gettysburg. Yeah, those are residual hauntings. They do the same thing all the time. Then you have a poltergeist, which is an active haunt. Yeah. They're the ones that turn lights on or open cabinets and make a mess. And those are the ones you have to worry about. Then you have the ghosts. A lot of times they come off and they'll say, now I can remember this. This is a true story. True story. So they come in as children. Demons do, because they say if a person sees the ghost of a child, then they're less scared. And they just talk to it and they just feed it, and it gives it more power. That allows them to start taking possession of a person. Now, when I was living in Florida, I was married to my other ex-wife. But she's my BFF, so I won't mention her name. But we lived in this house, and she was telling me, she thought she had 3 kids. She has 3 kids. And but she thought one of them was up. And because she kept the bedroom door open so they could come in if they ever got scared, whatever. But she kept seeing, and she thought one of the kids was up. And I was like, she's like, I blew her off. I'm like, you're crazy. Because she used to make fun of me because I'd watch the ghost shows all the time. She always made fun of me. And she was trying to set up fishing line to make something move because I was trying to videotape stuff because I was hearing stuff. So I didn't believe her. I'm like, you're full of crap. It's probably the kids. I woke up one night and I see this head of this kid at the foot of the bed.
Oh, God.
Looking over the footboard. And it was like an Asian kid with like a bowl cut. And so she's like, we were talking about it one day, and she's like, I saw that kid again last night. I said, was it an Asian kid? She's like, what? I said, it's an Asian kid with a bowl cut, right? And the look on her face,
Oh,
I knew she's like, oh my God, you saw him, didn't you? That freaking creeped me out so much.
If you see a kid, it's an evil spirit, is what
You
I've always been told to
nine
believe.
times out of 10, yes, it is an evil spirit. Yes.
Because if you believe in God, you don't. Everyone believes in something different, but there's no he wouldn't leave a child, on Earth like that.
Right. So that one's that one. So those are my ghost stories. So I'm more prone towards the being those are my favorite are the demon possession like ghost movies or anything that can happen in real life type films. I mean, I love slasher films. I love every Freddy Krueger movie. I love every Halloween movie. I love every Friday the 13th movie. They don't scare me. They did when I was a kid because I saw Nightmare on Elm Street when I was like 13 years old. That movie was terrifying. Plus, it was violent. That's a very violent movie for that day. When they have blood coming out of the bed and it goes up onto the ceiling. And
Back in the day, those movies were scary, but now like the old slasher films aren't scary to me
well,
anymore.
I credit my dad. Thank God I had the dad that I did because we used to watch scary movies when I was a kid. And I watched one today. It's called the Hammer films, and it has Christopher Lee as Dracula. And we used to watch all the Dracula movies all the time when I was a kid. Frankenstein. We would stay up late and watch Sammy Terry. And think about it. I mean, that's probably people call it bad parenting, but it teaches your kids not to be scared after a while. I mean, that was
That
terrifying.
is just a movie.
That is just a movie, exactly. And that's a good way to start them off with like Frankenstein and the Mummy and the Blob and Dracula. I can remember watching the Bela Lugosi Draculas with my dad and being scared. But I think that's a good idea to introduce those to those, per se a G-rated type of horror film. So like you said, it's just a movie. It's not going to scare you.
So how you said earlier, don't tell your parents that you're scared of the
Right.
movie or they won't
So
let you watch it again.
that's exactly right.
I got a funny story about that. So in 2004, when the Dawn of the Dead remake came out, um, we rented it on DVD, and it was like Halloween was when it came out. When we rented it, I don't know if it was 04, 05, or when it was
Uh-huh.
that it came out on DVD. And I had a friend staying that night because we did we did trick or treating, and then he stayed at my house. So we were gonna watch Dawn of the Dead the next day with my parents and my sister and her friend who stayed the night. But me and my friend wanted to watch the movie that night, so we stayed till like 2 in the morning and watched it. And I was scared out of my mind of that movie. Now it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, I shouldn't say one of my favorite movies of all time, but it's like one of my favorite movies, Dawn of the Dead, because I love zombie movies. But you're right. I did not tell my parents that movie scared the bejeebus out of me because they would have never let me watch another scary movie like that again.
Right.
And then we watched it the next day, and I acted surprised. When I was supposed to act surprised.
No, they did me good. I can remember watching the original Phantom of the Opera with my mom on Sammy Terry. Sammy Terry was good, and then they showed like what was it the guy out of Chicago, this Svengoolie guy. He used to show horror. We used to watch horror movies like that all the time, and then but I can remember being a teenager, being like 13, 14 years old, and that's when you started getting like TNT and USA Network started showing movies and stuff, and they would show the Friday the 13th movies. They'd have a Friday the 13th marathon, and me and my dad were glued to the TV. And they cut out basically. Dad wasn't worried about the violence as much as the sex, because everybody has sex in those movies and then they die. So, so he was more worried about he didn't want to exposed to anything sexual, but it was weird. Don't be exposed to anything sexual, but we could watch a guy hack a guy to death, and that's no big deal. But who am I to judge my
You
parents?
can watch the bloodiest movie of all time.
That's right, but you can't watch it if it's got boobs in it. But like I can remember that whole week, like every October, these movies would come on, and me and my dad would be 8 o'clock every night. We would watch these Friday the 13th movies or the Halloween movies or anything. But thank God, because my dad says when he was a kid, he saw Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, right? And that has Lon Chaney in it. It was the Wolfman, Frankenstein, and Dracula. So it's a comedy, but it had the Wolfman, who was Boris Karloff was Frankenstein, and Bela Lugosi was Dracula. So it came out in the late 40s, I think, and Dad was a kid. He was like 6 or 7 years old, and he said he can remember being scared watching Abbott and Costello meet the Mummy, even though it's a comedy, because those were scary to him. When he was a kid, that's Dracula.
Oh yeah.
Frankenstein. Those were scary back then. So.
Oh, hi Tim.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Sorry I'm a little late.
Well, gotta work. You gotta work.
That's right.
Yeah, get that paper, boo boo.
So sorry to interrupt you, Chris.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine.
Tim, do you have a list of your favorite scary movies?
Yeah,
So
number
I
one
was-
is the Cowboys game today.
Oh my god, that would. All right, you know what? Number one.
Yeah, that was spooky.
my was the most horrifying thing I've ever seen was that Cowboys game today. That's number one. Our defense is the spookiest thing ever. I'm not much of a scary movie guy, but I could not buy horror. I wouldn't put these. They're not like my favorite horror movies because they're scary or anything. But
Well, they don't have to be scary, but what are
They could
your
just be
favorites?
just Halloween movies.
Yeah,
How hard?
Any kind of scary movie. It
How
would be Demon's
hard
movie.
are you gonna slap me when I say Halloween Town 1 through 5? No, I'm just kidding.
No, because
There's only like 2 or 3 though.
No, there's 5 Halloween Towns.
Okay.
Halloween Town 1, 2, 3, Return to Halloween Town, and then Halloween Town High.
Yeah.
Don't even
Okay.
with that shit.
That's
What's
That's
the title of the second one, huh?
Calabar's Revenge.
Calabar's
Okay.
Revenge.
All
I didn't know
right.
that.
Okay.
I've never watched
Test
Halloween
it.
I haven't either, but I
I
just see it
can't.
all the time.
All right, so Halloween Town. I do love me some Coraline. Coraline's a pretty good Halloween movie. Definitely creepy too. As a
is that the
Pixar.
stop motion movie that's
Yeah.
I think it's a Pixar movie.
she like
Or
puts the
DreamWorks.
ring of like a dead girl on her hand?
Yeah, I think I think my stepdaughter like read the book or something. Is it based on a book?
It is based on a book, I think.
I think she watched the movie for school and we had to watch it. So I think I did see that one.
Nightmare Before Christmas. Always a classic.
Classic piece of crap.
Focus.
What is it?
You said
Hocus
Hocus
Pocus.
Pocus.
Oh, Hocus Pocus.
It's pretty good.
saw that
Again,
last
a
night.
classic. Was it the first time you've ever seen Hocus Pocus?
First time in a few years.
I was like, oh, Hocus Pocus is pretty good. Like, what?
No, so this is like the
Beetlejuice.
first time I
About
watched it.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. Yeah, Beetlejuice is a classic.
Yeah,
did-
I had that one.
yeah. Don't say it again. Jeez.
Beetlejuice,
I-
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
I saw
Alright.
that. I saw that movie at the theaters.
Oh, wow.
Okay, boomer.
You know what? And I was shocked they got away with the F word in a PG-rated movie.
It is PG. Isn't
When did
Yeah.
he say? When did he say?
When he's driving the truck and
Oh,
like
yes.
nice
Sandworms.
effing bottle.
Hate him. But yeah, those are some of my movies. What was it? What were you guys's? I was gonna
My-
say Saw. Saw's not really. It's just a
Yeah, I
slapstick movie.
said Saw.
He did say Saw. Saw's a good pick. Even like the
Yeah,
first
well, no,
three,
don't
or
get me wrong,
four
I-
are really
I
good.
love Saw. I'm just I don't know if I'd call
It's
it
a good
Halloween.
psychological.
It's a psychological thrill. Yeah, I remember. So we went to Comic-Con a few years ago, and Carrie Elwes was there signing autographs. Did you stay for this, Chris, or were you gone already?
I think I have to leave for work.
Okay, so we went to the Q&A session with Carrie
Yeah,
Elwes.
I had to leave for work. I remember that.
So,
I remember
so,
I wanted
so
to go.
he was in Saw, obviously, right? So he was doing a Q&A session, and this little girl gets up there, and he asks her name, and she tells him her name, and he's like, "Well, how old are you?" And she says, or no, he didn't ask how old she was yet. So she's like, well, "Okay, well, what's your question?" Thinking it's about maybe Princess Bride or something. She's like, when you read the script for Saw, and you saw that you had to cut your foot off, how did you feel about that? And like his face just dropped, and he's like, "How old are you?" She says, "I'm 9. You're 9 years old, and you've seen Saw?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Does your parents know that?" And she's like, "Yeah, me and my dad watched it." She's like, "Oh, okay." So how did you feel about having to cut your leg off?
Get right to the point. Like, hey.
No, I thought that was hilarious.
So
Saw's a good one.
Chris with a K.
Yes.
Did you watch it?
Watch what?
You know what I'm asking.
South
Oh,
Park.
the South Park. We're going off topic here.
I'm sorry. It's just I'm
Yes,
just
I did. I watched it last night, actually. So,
so funny.
so back on topic.
What's
So,
that
yeah, I
diaper
did.
on your face?
Back on topic. Halloween.
Back
Boo.
on
Spooky.
But
the,
Mikey,
the scariest movie I've probably ever been forced to watch was The Horse Whisperer with
Spooky Vision.
was The Horse Whisperer with Robert Redford, because God, what a piece of crap that was. So
oh God,
my God,
oh God, I gotta
Talk
turn
about
this mic
horror.
off.
Ah!
What?
He turned his camera on.
he looks like
Yep.
looks
Just
like
so everybody knows.
he looks like Ryan Reynolds in the Amityville Horror when he goes
Oh, I
psycho
look like
on his
Ryan
face.
Reynolds, do I? Hmm.
No, just when the psycho Ryan Reynolds.
You-
That's just stop the camera right there. God, I think I've just seen I'll have nightmares tonight.
Nightmare
because everyone's
Before Christmas.
listening, he keeps turning his camera on like straight up on his face, and
And,
it's spoopy.
I-
It's really spoopy.
I may have panned down
And
slightly.
his bird nest chest hair.
Bird nest soup.
Let's go back to our Halloween talk.
Yeah, let's
I'll-
get back on topic.
Now, I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there any, like, I know a lot of TV shows do Halloween specials or episodes. Is there any episodes that's, like, kind of stick out to you that you remember that you like to watch?
Scary or funny?
I mean, it could be both. It's just
It's
Halloween.
like
Halloween
those
theme.
home improvements were gold with the Halloween specials.
Yeah.
Okay, the Futurama one where Bender's a ghost trying to scare Fry to death. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure that was a Halloween episode. That was a hilarious episode. That's where I got hold on here, Dookie. It's about to get spooky.
Whoever posted that Futurama one, I was dying laughing.
That was me.
Yeah.
I got. I really can't think of many.
Yeah, not at the top of my
Any of
head.
the
I was
South
looking
Parks.
at
The
what-
South
South
Park.
Park
they had
Spooky
Yeah.
Vision. When they put a picture of Barbara Streisand or whoever in the corner of the
that was a good one.
uh,
The one with the corn. The one with corn. That was a good
corn.
one.
That's I'm pretty sure that's the
Is
Spooky
it the
Vision
same
app.
one? The
Corn's
first one.
Groovy
No,
Pirate
actually,
Ghost
no, that's a
Mystery.
different one. Yeah,
The first one where Chef
that was in the second season.
got eaten by a zombie and he became
Yep.
Michael Jackson. That was the first.
First one. That's
was
a
the
good
first
one. When they're like, do not start going off decapitating people. I repeat, do not. Okay.
Yeah.
What next?
Okay. So there was a movie I can remember watching. Okay, so this came out in like '85, so it probably showed up on HBO in '86. Was Return of the Living Dead, right? So it's about these kids that they're zombies, and they end up somewhere, and it's like in this building, and these zombies are trying to get them, of course. So they call the police, and they keep saying brains, we want brains. So the police show up and the zombies attack the brains or the cops. The zombie gets on the radio in the police car and says, "Send more cops," so they can eat the brains out. But the only reason I remember this movie is because I was like 14 at the time, 13, 14 when I saw this. And this chick gets up on this table and dances, and she's completely naked. And there's like full frontal. And I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest horror film, history of horror films, because it's got full frontal nudity in it. It's a funny movie. It's not funny. It's like funny, bad funny. Kind of like Frankenhooker. That's another one y'all should check out. Frankenhooker is a good one. Let me look that one up. I saw that on Frankenhooker came out in 1990. It is about a medical student sets out to recreate his decapitated fiancée by building her a new body made of Manhattan Street prostitutes. So check that one out, Frankenhooker. It's got a 6.2 rating on IMDb.
Have you guys, going back to Zach Bagans, have you guys seen a Demon House, the one up in Evansville he did?
No, it was up in Gary. It wasn't.
Oh, not Evansville. Yeah, Gary. Did you guys watch that?
I did watch that.
Dude, that movie, that like special was scary as crap.
It was scary because like that affected his vision. Like he can't use his glasses now.
His one cameraman like
that
ruined
guy
his
that freaked
wedding,
out?
and he's an alcoholic or on drugs now or something. He had like a full like mental break after that. It's just like scary because that's like a 2-hour drive from us. 3 hours. How long? How far? But
was it so? Is something like is it separate from Ghost Adventures?
Yeah,
Yes, he does.
Okay.
He made a documentary called Demon House, and
Okay.
this house was notorious in Gary, Indiana.
Okay.
And he bought the house, and then he spent the night in it. Like they boarded up the windows, they boarded the door shut, so he could not get out. He was in there for 24 hours, and it was insane. And what happened in the house caused his vision to like screw up, and he has to wear those thick black glasses now.
Like even when they were doing the interviews, you know how they always do like the interviews,
Yes.
the shows beforehand. There was tons of crap happening in like the interview stage of everything. There was like a cop who wouldn't even go near the house after what happened to him there.
They say he tore the house down.
Yeah, he tore it down.
Oh God!
He took the steps out from the basement, and those are in his museum. And he tore the house down, but they still say that people come there with Ouija boards, and they try to conjure up the spirits that was there. And
I mean, that's like seeped into the ground. That's not like
Yeah.
he's got a.
I don't know why he chose to tear it down. I don't know what that did.
I don't know. They say when you tear it down, it might release the stuff that's in there into the world. But I don't know. Well, I was just thinking about when we were talking about Zach Bagans, that popped back into my mind. The Demon House.
I mean, I've never seen it, so I'll have to watch it.
You got to watch. Yeah,
it's like a 2-hour documentary.
He's the most real,
Jesus.
I think, of the ghost. He's the crazy one. So what he pulls out is pretty freaking.
Do you believe like the Ghost Hunters, the ones on Sci-Fi Channel?
I was just gonna say, have you guys ever seen Ghost Hunters?
I've seen.
I used to like
one of the show Taps before it.
Yeah.
They actually came to the city where I live to do the Armory episode, season 1, episode 7, The Armory.
Oh, really?
It's
they came
in
to when I lived in Florida. They came to do a house in Florida.
It's actually really closed. I actually don't even think that they use that armory for. They only use it for like. There's only like a few people stationed there, like at all times or whatever, and they all say it's pretty haunted. Actually, I think that in that episode was one of the few times where somebody got like knocked over or something like that, and it was one of the first.
They came to a haunted bed and breakfast where I lived in Florida and investigated.
That's
And
what my
I
breakfast.
was actually I didn't know they were in town till after the fact, but I narrowed it down to they were in town investigating the day I was leaving for vacation. So I missed seeing them. But they were trying to sell the bed and breakfast, so we don't know if that was part of the reason why they did that. But
like the first few seasons of that show, I actually kind of think it was sort of real, but they got so many busts they had to start making shit up on it.
yeah, I didn't. I started not buying it. It seems to me that they would investigate, which is probably smart, but I think they would only go so far. Zach Bagans really
He will push whatever's in
he
there
pushes the limit.
Yeah.
Yes.
because you're not
So
supposed to like push them or give them energy.
right, and he does. So
I mean I like Ghost Adventures better. I just feel like, and if we're gonna compare the two, I mean, I just like the investigators in Ghost Adventures. I like their personality more. I mean, I've Ghost Hunters, they use a lot of equipment and stuff that help them, but I don't know. Just like two or three of them or four, whatever, how many's in Ghost Adventures now. I think they do a really good job, just a
I
few of them,
just
and what
actually,
little equipment they use.
I just actually read that they had another one in a fort in my city over down near the water later on. It was like Fort Tabor, I think it was. Another
Who's
haunted fort.
now Ghost Adventures they did this, or not Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters. They did a live Halloween show.
at
Yeah,
that
I think I remember that too.
sanitarium or whatever?
No. This was at a fort, like an old Civil War fort.
Which one was this? The Sci-Fi Channel or Zach?
Yes. No,
They've done a
no.
few live Halloween specials.
Yes. Zach's done a few live ones too, but they did one, and they were in this fort. So they had this camera shooting down this hallway, and it was into a room. At the end of the hallway was a room, and they caught this full torso apparition, essentially. It walked out the door, looked down the hallway, and turned around and went back in the room. And there was no way that was the only way in and out of that was that hallway. And they went in that room. So they went in that room. So there's no way that was a legit pickup on the camera. So it was they used the what is it, the heat sensor cameras, whatever, you know what I'm talking about?
Clear.
Yes, yeah, the FLIR camera, and that's what they caught in this fort. I can't remember where it was, but that was on a live episode. Didn't they do a live episode from Waverly Hills?
Yeah,
I want
that's
to
the
go
one
there.
that was like where like tons of people died of tuberculosis.
Yes, we could go there. It's like 3 hours. We
Really?
could do a tour. It's like $150, I think. $150, and you could do a ghost hunt of Waverly Hills.
I only live 10 minutes away from my haunted places.
Well, I'm saying that's the biggest one probably around here. It's that
I
one,
mean,
and it's 3 hours to Mansfield, Ohio. They filmed Shawshank Redemption there.
there's
That
that
one's haunted
one
too.
haunted graveyard, out near us.
Oh, what's it called? Jerome.
Yeah, Jerome.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I
But
think that's just a fake.
they say it's legit. I don't want to go out there in the middle of the night, but I'd love to go to Louisville or to Mansfield and do a ghost tour. You can do a ghost
I
tour
wanna-
of prison in
There's
Ohio.
a ghost tour down in like New Orleans.
There's tons of ghost tours. I went on a ghost tour in Savannah one time. Savannah's very haunted. Very, very, very haunted. And they've got a lot of voodoo down there, which that's summoning the devil, basically. So it's a very creepy city. We took a ghost tour. Savannah's beautiful during the day. When we took this ghost tour, we was walking back to the car from our ghost tour, and I got the most uneasy freaking feeling in my life while we were walking back to the car. Like I just got this creepy, creepy feeling. like I was being followed or watched. It had nothing to do with the ghost tour. The ghost tour wasn't even scary. It was more of a history kind of, they tell you different ghost stories. But it was definitely a creepy feeling. But yeah, ghost tours are fun. There's one I think there's one down in Atlanta, 20 minutes from here. There's an old hotel there. I think John Dillinger stayed there, and I think they do ghost tours there. So you could do ghost tours there. But I want to do like Waverly Hills sometime. I want to go down to Louisville and get the crap scared out of me. You could do they've got like various levels of ghost tours. Like you could take a ghost tour of it, or you could join in an investigation. And it's like they do like 3-hour investigation or 5-hour investigation or something like that. I don't know if they're doing that now, but
That actually sounds pretty cool.
right? But I've been dying to go to that. Here we go, tours. But I don't know if they're doing them right now or not. They might be. I mean, you wear a mask, right?
They might be with like a small group.
They've got 2-hour paranormal guided tour, historical guided tour, 6-hour public investigations. You can do a private investigation, but I don't know how much those cost.
So I know Chris spoke about it earlier, but does anybody? He told his story. Does anybody else have any scary stories or true things they think they've seen?
Here you go. Private 8-hour paranormal investigation is $1,000. 10 people minimum.
I mean, that could be something to do. Is it $1,000 in the per group?
I'm gonna assume $1,000.
Yeah, it's $100 per guest.
Okay, that's not
Or
bad.
you could, they have you could do a 6-hour public paranormal investigation. It goes from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. from March to August at $75 a person.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, not really.
I mean,
Yeah.
really though, I'd pay a little bit more money to not have a bunch of randos in my squad, but that's just me.
I mean, I don't know if we could get if I could get 10 people together.
No, yeah. I mean, you'd
must have a group of at least 10 or pay the equivalent of any over 10 or $100 per guest. Please read guidelines. So, I mean, this could be.
Can we use imaginary people? Do those count? I'll bring my.
We could do this. I mean, I
Or
don't know
maybe
10
like
people
bring
who
a
would do
dog
this,
or
but we could
something.
do this. We
can all bring our dogs and sniff out the
This
ghost.
sounds fun, though, man. I mean, seriously, $100 a person for 10 of it. If we can find 10 people dumb enough like us to do this, then we could discuss it on a podcast, and then we could,
Yeah,
release it at Halloween.
Tim's gonna get ghost lost forever.
You've got to go. You've got to come here. So you got to fly into Louisville. And we'll just meet you there, and then we'll do the ghost tour. And then we got to find 6 other stupid people like us to do this.
So
we can just wait outside of the Godfather premiere.
I'm gonna push you down an elevator shaft when we get to for saying that. What happened? He slipped. I tried to catch him, and
what happened down there? I fell.
Look what they did to my boy. Well, all right. What was your question, Mikey?
Does anybody else have any scary stories to tell, like Chris did earlier, where he saw the Asian kid?
I got another one. This is like me personally, not family legend.
I've got another one too, but go ahead, Chris, please.
So it's a sleep paralysis story.
We've all had those, right?
Yeah, but this is so I wake up in the middle of the night, can't move, and there's this little, I don't know if it's a little girl or just a short woman, skin and bones, basically, standing in my doorway, and I can't move, I can't do anything. I'm just sitting there staring at it. What got me to move and what made me kind of get it to leave was Coco woke up and started growling.
Oh, I got
so
another
she
one.
definitely sensed it. I don't. That's like the thing that sold me on.
That's fucky.
Ghosts was Coco reacted to it. And you know,
I've got-
you guys have all met Coco except for Tim. She'll come up and give you some loving.
Oh,
Right.
She
yeah.
won't growl at you.
No.
I have got a story related to a dog. So, my in-laws were visiting me. This is my first wife, with the creepy parents. It's creepy mom and grandfather. So they were visiting us and staying at our house. And my ex-wife had taken time off. She took the week off basically to do stuff with her parents. So her and her parents had gone for the day. And I was, I worked that day, and it was like I went to bed. It was like 10 o'clock. I went to bed, and we had a dog, and I can remember having a nightmare, and I didn't know what it was. It was really weird. But I had this nightmare, and I woke up, and there's a knock on the front door, and my dog went berserk, right? So I was like, oh, it's her. She must have forgot her house key. And I go to the door, and they are pulling into the driveway. But I know I heard that door knock, and I mean it was like a loud knock on the door.
So did your dog.
Yeah, and the dog reacted because it woke up and it was barking its head off. So that was Florida's a creepy ass place. Don't go live in Florida. It's full of ghosts. I'm telling you.
When Spunky was Spunky is was my dog for everybody that doesn't know. When Spunky was on his way out, he used to sit in front of my closet and just bark at an empty closet, and I would always be like, "There is 100% of closet," and because that's where he sleeps. Or where he would sleep is in the closet, and he would sit there and just bark and growl at the closet like for a few minutes, and then eventually he would like slowly make his way in and lay down. And I was like, "There's a ghost dog in here." I mean, hey, maybe
A
it was
ghost dog.
maybe it was my first dog. Maybe it was Malty.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, push over." But speaking of nightmares, my scariest nightmare, Predator, chased me for years.
Predator.
It would-
Like from the movie.
Yes, from AVP. I had a little toy,
It was
had a
from
little
ABB.
toy, an action figure Predator, and I actually ended up having to like hide the toy because I would just have this nightmare every once in a while. Predator still pops up in my nightmares, except I'm a little bit older and I've whooped his butt a couple times. I remember that the way that I overcame Predator is every time I would wake up in the dream, I would be holding whatever I was holding, my pillow, my blanket, my stuffed animal. So
Oh my God.
I fell asleep with a toy sword. I remember it was a power. And wouldn't you know that I woke up in the dream with the sword and I sliced that dude in half, and it was
Freddy
years
Krueger.
before I had another Predator dream. I was like,
Oh, that's great.
Oh,
I
Come
really
on, do it.
took him out. I really took him out. I was like, sweet.
Who knows? They might have been transporting you to another world to hunt you and
Yeah,
just
and I
bringing you back.
yeah, and I just whooped his ass.
I have another story. It's a Florida story. Everything happens in Florida. I don't know why.
Everything happens in Florida.
Yeah.
So you can see a lot of meteor showers in Florida, right? And there happened to be a meteor shower. And when I first moved to Florida, there were certain areas you could go, and it was just pitch black, dark. And but it was enough of like the light in the horizon to see, but you could still see the meteor shower. So we're out watching a meteor shower in this cul-de-sac. And
Chris got abducted by a UFO. Gone.
so hold on. So there's this. So there it was a. There's this whole area where I lived in Florida, and basically it's just a bunch of roads with all these empty lots. So it's just tree lots full of trees. So you go park in there. So the cul-de-sac was surrounded by trees, and then behind it were some power lines. And all of a sudden, we're looking. It's clear sky. The sky was completely clear. There was no clouds, no nothing. And it was a warm day. It was a warm evening. This was about 11 o'clock at night, 11:30 at night. And all of a sudden, panning from left to right from where we were looking up into trees and stuff, we see this mist, like it's just a giant mist, and it flew over the tree line, went through the power lines, and it just disappeared. Now, I have no idea what it was, but we all saw it, and we all got this. We saw it at the same time. We reacted the same way, and we got the same chilling, goosebump feeling. So we went back to the house, and we're like, okay, don't describe it. We went back to the house, grabbed a piece of paper and a pencil, and we drew what we thought we saw without, each separately. And it all came back the exact same thing. So I don't know what's going on down there. I don't know if some, family and ghosts come flying across the tree line, but there was something definitely not right going on there.
You got to
Pictures or it didn't happen, but I don't think you would have brought like a stone and chisel with you back then. No!
My God. Yeah, all the way back in the 90s. It's amazing you were born,
Hey, 92.
That's what I'm saying. This was the same time. So I'm amazed.
Maybe it was me.
I'm amazed you survived childbirth because that happened back then in the old days. People didn't survive childbirth very often.
Oh my God.
All right, let's bring this episode to an end. We're pushing an hour, so actually we're over an hour 6 right now.
Still doing the normal one for now.
What, the normal outro?
Yeah, at least until we figure out what we're doing.
Spooktacular.
Yeah.
You're gonna throw in spooktacular.
Spectacular.
So, Mikey, are you ready with any shower thoughts this week?
I do, but since it's Halloween theme, I thought I'd share a short, scary story. It's like one sentence. It's pretty known. I guess I've seen it before.
Tim,
so here it is. The driver wasn't very chatty, so I checked my phone. It says, "Hey, it's your Uber. I'm outside."
Well,
Get it?
I get it. They're in the wrong car.
In the wrong damn car.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
All
huh?
right. Well,
There's a ton of it.
Hold on. Give me 1 second to think of a spectacular way to end
Well-
this.
if you want to, I'll finish. I'll say some stuff. If you have your own scary stories, share them at Pod Nerds on Twitter, on the Facebook, in our comment section on YouTube video. If you know us, I guess you can text it to us, or tell us when you see us.
Or
other
share some of your movies that we might have missed. I know we probably missed a lot, but
I mean, I'm looking at a list of 100 right here.
yeah.
Oh, no doubt.
Everyone has their own taste. You ready, Tim?
So if you're looking for any spooky news or just in general want to talk about nerd-related things, especially spooky-related nerd things, just check where you find your podcast, wherever you may find your podcast. We're up there, and as always, we'll never leave you wondering who's your nerds.